Hello guys, welcome to the sixth section of data analytics in Excel series. Today we want to do some data validation. We want to see how we can apply some set of rules to a particular table and allow the input data to follow only those set of rules. So here you can see I've actually written down some rules here which apply to each column here on this particular table. For the name should have a maximum of 15 character, the date has a range, and email should contain an act, the salary should be greater than 30,000, and the position should rank between 10 and 20. So if I should click on any cell here on these columns here, you will see a pop-up message asking me to enter a name, and here it will say enter a date, here it will say enter an email, this will say enter a salary, and this will say enter a position. So how was I able to come to this particular level? So what I did was that I clicked on the first cell here. You can just click on it, or we just drag the whole cell there. But if you actually apply it on one cell, you can later drag it and it will apply to other cells. So what I did was that I dragged the whole cell, so I clicked on formula, so I came to this data validation here, so I clicked on that. So what I did was that I want my name to have a maximum of 15 characters, so it's going to be a text length. So you come here, what are you allowing? We are allowing a text length, and we want it to be the date, the data should be less than, and the maximum should be 15. So you can come here and select, is it between, equals to, not equal to, it is less than, because we want to have a maximum of 15 character, and I inputted 15 there. So for the input message, I say enter name, and the message I wanted to come out was enter name. And I also wanted to create an error in which if someone enter a name which is above 15 character, it will bring up that error. So I say name is greater than 15 character, and I say name should be less than 15 character, and once you do that, hit enter. So if I come back here now and I try to type a long name there, and you see an error will come out. You see name should be less than what, 15 character. So if I cancel, that particular input data will not enter on that table. So if I enter a name now, let's say I enter James Brown, and I hit enter, you see the name, particularly the name will be entered on that table because it actually obey the rule that applies to the particular column here. So same goes for this one. All you do is just come there, drag it down, just click on the first one, drag it down, and I'll come to data, and I'll come to data validation. This is going to be between. All right, I'm passing in a date, I'm allowing it in the date, so I will choose a date, and it's going to be in between because I want to choose a range in which to fall, and the date I want it to fall between 10th of August and it should end on 30th of August. And for the input message, it's the same thing, enter date here. And for the error, I said this is actually automatic, it's going to be there. I don't want to choose a warning or information, but the first feature here will be stop. So I pass in this message here which says invalid date, and I say date should be between. So if a user happens to enter a particular date that doesn't fall between that range, it will give the user a hint of what it is expected in that particular cell. So if I hit OK now and I try to enter a date, or let's say I enter 30th of 1st 2022, that should give me an error. You see they should be between 10th of October and it should end on 30th of December. So if I come here and enter, let's enter 11th of October, and let's enter 2022. Let's see if our rule actually works, and there you can see the data actually entered. So this rule apply to all these table here, all these rules here. So let's come to the other one, which is an email. So same thing goes for here. I'm going to click and drag. I'll come to my data here and my data validation. So here we'll come to the settings. What we're doing here is I'm going to use a custom. I'll use a custom for it. When I use a custom for it, then I will pass in this formula here, and the formula is very simple. All you're doing is you're saying its number. Then when I say its number, then it should find this particular character here from the range. The range is D4 down to D20 from the range, which to whatever range your table is, just choose the range there, just highlight everything, or you can just apply it on one table, then click and drag, and it will be applied to the rest of the table. So once you pass in this formula there, make sure it's on the allow here, you choose custom. Then for the input date, I'm going to pass in, enter an email, enter a valid email. Then same thing go for the error, I'll say must contain at. So if I hit OK now, let's say I just pass in an email there and it's going to say must contain at. So let's say I do let's say I do example at gmail.com and I hit enter, and that particular data will be entered because it actually obeys the rule. So same thing go for the salary. The salary is very simple, just going to be actually the same thing we did, which is going to be greater than. So I'll go on my data validation here again, and on my settings I want it to be a decimal. Why do I say choose a decimal? A salary can have a decimal figure like 30k point $5 point whatever point cent. So the data that we're passing in should be greater than 30,000 naira. So it shouldn't be greater than or equals to, just greater than 30,000 naira. And we'll pass in the input message, and same thing goes for the error. I'll say salary should be greater than 30k. So once I do that, I'll hit enter. So if let's assume I enter 20,000 here, which is definitely not obeying the rule, so our rule works. So if I happen to put 40,000 here, is that 40,000? Yeah, and you can see the data actually enter, which means our rule actually works on this. So same thing goes for this one. This is going to be another one which is between. So you come to your data validation. For the input message, I want it to be a whole number because it is 10 to 20, so it's going to be a whole number, and this is between, and the minimum is 20 and the maximum is 10. So same thing go for the input message as well as the error message. So if I come here and put 9, I'm not sure it will allow that. So let's enter 10 and see. So you see 10 entered, which means our rule actually applied to this column as well. So let's see how we can do some data validation on some input data. Here are some cities that I've actually visited in Nigeria and some places that I actually know in those cities: Kano, Ilorin, Ibadan, and Abeokuta. So here, let's say I want to actually make an input, just we did it in the first section of our video, in which we do some data validation. So here, if I come here now and come to this particular cell here and I click on data validation and actually do let's say I want to enter a list here and it's asking me for the source. If I actually come and click this here, it's going to actually work, but it's going to bring up some space between them. Are you seeing it? So actually what I did was that I just wrote out those states out here, and I'll come here and I'm going to change the source. I'll just come here to input and to data validation, and instead of that source here, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'll actually replace it with this. So let me hit OK now. So I think that should take care of that particular space in between them. So let's choose the first one, which is Kano. So I want to actually generate all the places according to the state here, according to the places, according to the state. So same thing goes for that. So what I'll do here is I'll just click this, and there are 4 states, so I'll drag it down. So once I do that, I can choose this to be Lorry, and I'll choose this to be Ibadan, and the last one to be Abeokuta. So Same thing goes for this one. I'll come here and data validation, and I want it to be a list. I want it to be a list. So for the source, let me just click this here. So I'll hit OK. So you can see that has already applied. So let me just use Sabongele. It's a very popular place in Kano. So what I can do here is I can just come here and drag this and apply it to the other state, and but it's going to actually generate the previous input for the other state. So all I can do here is I can just come to this data here and change the source for this particular one here. Instead of Kano, it's going to be equals to Ilorin, and I'll hit OK, and this will change from Ilorin to this will change from Sabongeri to the particular input that was in there. So it's another popular place in Ilorin, which is Offa along Oshobo Road. So here, another one here again, same thing goes for the way we did the other one. I can just come here and sorry, I'm doing that mistake. Data validation, and I'm going to change the source again. And what I want to do here is I want to select all the area in Ibadan that I know. Some of the area I know, actually know more than this. So, and another one of my favorite place in Ibadan is Dugbe. So another place in the Abeokuta here. So here I can just come back here again and select data validation and change the source, and I want the source to be here from challenge to Owo, and hit OK. So once I do that, it's to select another place, one of my favorite places, which is Bansheke. So this is how you can do input validation on the input set. For this video, that will be all. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. For this session, will be all. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.